Hi there guys, Sam here. As the title suggests, just a video on the Mk8 Fiesta ST. A few more things have come up recently. A few journalists have had sort of passenger rides in the Fiesta ST, and a bit more information released about it. And I just kind of wanted to go through kind of the top 5 features to help you guys out basically. So yeah, let's start off with number 1 of the Mk8 Fiesta ST. So number 1, well, the first thing for me is the 1.5 litre 3-cylinder engine. So I think for me this is a really cool feature. It's the fact that it's quite small anyway, at such a small capacity, and can deliver 197 brake horsepower, 236 pounds-foot of torque is still really strong. I don't believe there's an overboost. That's just what it is, the standard equivalent kind of to the ST200. But the cool thing about it is the cylinder deactivation on top of that. So between 1200 RPM and 4,500 RPM, it can essentially switch one of the cylinder off, or at least sort of reduce it quite a fair amount to the point of turning it off. Apparently that can reduce efficiency by about 6%, some say 11% as well from what I was reading, and the transition seems to be quite seamless. So as you go from 3 to 2, you don't really notice it, and I just think that's a really cool feature. It's quite revolutionary in that kind of department to have. And still to be able to bring the power is quite cool. And again, some of the reviews, the sound of it, apparently it sounds really good. In fact, people are quoting saying it sounds just similar to like a 5-cylinder Focus ST, which is great. The second thing is the front limited slip differential. So it's a Quaife LSD. I don't believe it's standard on the Mk8 Fiesta ST, but it certainly would be an option, or certainly on higher trim levels. And it just allows you to get more out of the front end of the car, particularly if you take it on track. You get better front end traction, your exit from corners is better, you get less wheel spin. I'll put a picture on screen of what it kind of looks like and things like that. And Quaife have done it before on sort of like the Focus RS, and you can get it you can get it as an option on this Fiesta ST as well, the one I'm sitting in, the Mk7. But it's obviously not standard or official from Ford. This is now sort of a combination with Ford and Quaife to combine it, and it works in conjunction with the torque vectoring control system which Ford have, which essentially brakes the inside wheel to gain traction. This sort of works with obviously a mechanical slippy diff with that to make it work better, and that's really cool. When you're on it, that's quite a cool feature to have, certainly as an option. The third thing for me is the steering ratio. So it's a 12:1 ratio, which is essentially 2 turns between the locks, and it just means slow speed steering is far better, and it's actually similar to my Golf R, 2 turns to lock. And the one thing that I criticise, because I owned my Mk7 Fiesta ST for 4 years, and turning circle was really crap, and you didn't really get much feel when you do the full lock. You didn't really get the feel of what you're doing. I think the steering will be a lot better. I think it will be more usable, and you'll still have that agility as well in the car. But slow speed agility is what will be improved by a better steering ratio, essentially. So the fourth thing for me is the drive modes. So again, similar to my Golf R actually, you can adjust so many things. You can adjust the steering weight, you can adjust obviously the traction control, the ESP, the throttle response, the exhaust systems, the valve controls, and this is combined between normal, sport and track modes. I think that just gives it another dynamic. One thing I loved about this Fiesta ST Mk7 is that you just get straight in it, turn traction control off and you're away, no settings. But as the future is sort of becoming more technical, stuff like that is really good. And what I found in my Golf R is you kind of just leave it in the setting that suits you, which for me is obviously exhaust open, steering lighter. Yeah, it's obviously, throttle response as sharp as you can have it basically as well, because that's what you get those kind of cars for personally. And part of the drive mode, you actually also get launch control as well in a manual, which is pretty cool. So again, yeah, you just literally turn it on, and apparently every time you launch it, if you put on the clutch, floor the throttle, it will build the revs to the right amount, dump the clutch, you're off, and you'll get a 0 to 60 time. I believe actually in launch control it says 6.5 seconds, so that's not bad. Obviously a bit of a gimmick, but at the same time you can do it over and over again, and it's all nicely set up for you. The fifth and final thing for me is the weight. So something I mentioned about my Golf R quite a lot, the only thing that lets it down is because it's got 4-wheel drive, it's a little bit heavier. It's not too far off 1.5 tons, even in manual 3-door form, it's still heavy. And this Fiesta ST I'm in now is really light and agile. Apparently the next one's supposed to be even lighter. Mixture of the engine being lighter, and obviously probably a few components as well making it lighter. And that's despite all the safety systems it's got on it. So, you know, technology today, this one doesn't have much because it's an older gen, but yeah, sort of like, you know, the safety system that comes as standard now in modern day cars has to be really, really high, and inevitably that can sometimes add weight. I just think that's really, really cool, because it not only improves efficiency, it makes the car more fun, makes it more agile, and it just adds more to it. And I just think that's really, really cool. And that's kind of the fifth thing I wanted to add. Just a couple of mentions as well. It's got selective double valve dampers, which is supposed to make it, although it's not like adjustable dampers, it's supposed to mean that in the corners, obviously, it handles really well, but at the same time, it's not going to break your back. It somehow makes it more comfortable as well, which is quite cool. And the other thing is the Michelin Pilot Sport tyres, which come as standard on the car. Again, working in conjunction with the car, I think that'll make it a riot on the track and not too bad on the road either. And I think that's really cool. One thing to add, if you want to check out my first Mk8 Fiesta ST video, just click on the link up above. Yeah, it was just my kind of initial thoughts on the car, and yeah, this is kind of like a follow-on, I guess, from that. Now new information is available. So yeah, there we go. I just wanted to go through the top kind of 5 features. Hopefully it kind of gives you an idea about the Fiesta ST. I've got some images on the screen and stuff like that. I'll put some links in the description of some of the websites I checked out. It's a really cool car. You know, the last one, the one that I'm in now, was brilliant. If it's better than this, it's going to be fantastic. I believe prices start from around, it's anywhere between 20 grand to 25 grand for a top spec, which is a bit pricey, but let's see what it's like to drive. But yeah, thank you for watching. Give it a like if you enjoyed this video. You know, please subscribe. I'll certainly try and do more videos a little bit on the Fiesta ST. I certainly would like to try a test drive in it, but primarily it'll be on my Golf R. And you know, again, I appreciate the subscribers, I appreciate the likes as well. But yeah, you know, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.